Hello and good evening, I bid to sir. Today our group will present Sukuk by Petronas Global Sukuk LTD. Here is our group members: Melanie Anarenang, Siti Nur Aisyah, Cecilia Nawani, Tantiana Lahe, and Ulan Usat. Moving on to the detail of announcement Sukuk, the issuers named by Petronas Global Sukuk LTD, the obligors named by Petroleum Nasional Berhad, which is Petronas. The issuer date is 18 March 2015 and the maturity date is 18 March 2020. I will explain the introduction. A sukuk is an Islamic financial certificate similar to a bond in a Western finance that complies with Islamic religious law commonly known as Sharia. There are Sharia-compliant sukuk structure, which is ijara sukuk, based on leasing agreements where sukuk holders own the asset and lease it out, earning rental income. Next is murabaha sukuk, based on a cost-plus profit sale agreement, where the issuer sells an asset to the sukuk holder at a markup price, and the buyers repay over time. The last one is istisna sukuk, based on a construction or manufacturing contract where the issuer agrees to construct or manufacture an asset for the sukuk holders. Moving on to history of sukuk, the establishment of the Islamic Development Bank (IDB) in 1975 marked a significant step towards institutionalizing Islamic finance on a global scale. The concept of sukuk began to take shape in the 1980s as Islamic scholars and financial experts sought to create Sharia-compliant investment instruments. The last one is the contemporary practice of Islamic finance began in the mid-20th century with early experiments in interest-free banking in Egypt and Malaysia. The characteristics of sukuk is regulatory and Sharia compliance. Issuers of sukuk usually have a Sharia board or advisory committee that reviews and certifies the compliance of the sukuk structure with Islamic principles. Next is prohibition of riba or interest. Sukuk returns are not based on interest. Instead, returns come from the actual earnings generated by the underlying assets such as rental income, sales profits, or business revenue. The last one is transparency and disclosure. Sukuk contract provide clear terms regarding the underlying assets, investment structure, profit distribution, and the obligations of all parties involved.
Type of contract involved in sukuk. Sukuk aim to provide a Sharia complement alternative to conventional bond by ensuring the transaction bond do not involve interest, riba, excessive uncertainty, gharar, and gambling measure. The prohibition of riba, which is interest, is stated in Al-Quran, which is, "Or you have believed, fear Allah, and give up what remains due to you of interest, and if you should be believed." Ayat Al-Baqarah 2278. Based on the diagram given, there are stated that Petronas Global Sukuk LTD is involved in few of Islamic contract. Islamic contract involved is ijara, which is lease agreement. This contract involves the transfer of usufruct of an asset to another person in exchange of a rent claimed by him. The sukuk is contracted based off the Sharia principle of ijara or leasing. Petronas Sukuk Ltd issued sukuk based on the Sharia principle of ijara. where the sukuk holder is considered as lessee and Petronas as lessor. Sukuk holder receive a fixed return based on the rental income generated by the asset leased to them. The second Islamic contract that involved in Petronas is wakalah. The sukuk was structured as wakalah agreement, where the principal, the investor, appoint as wakil or agent to invest funds provided by the principal into a pool of investment or asset. The main purpose for wakalah is to manage those investments on behalf of the principal for a particular duration to generate an agreed upon profit return. Next, murabaha. Murabaha is Islamic financing structure where the bank buy an asset and sell it to a customer at a profit margin agreed upon by both parties. The customer pay the bank in installment or as a lump sum. The sukuk involves a community murabaha investment agreement where the buyer, which is Petronas, purchase commodity at a cost plus as markup, which the profit being shared between the buyer and the seller.
Next, I will present about key difference between sukuk and conventional bond. The first one is ownership of underlying asset. Investors in sukuk have ownership right in the underlying asset, while bondholders in the conventional bond do not have ownership right in the underlying asset. This is meant by sukuk holder own part of the underlying asset in any sukuk transaction depending on the extent of their investment, which determines the share they are entitled to. In contrast, bondholders of conventional bond do not have any ownership right over the issued asset. They are simply lender who provide funds to the issuer in exchange for periodic interest payment and the return of principal upon maturity. Next is income generation. Sukuk holder receive income generated from the underlying asset. This could be rent from property, profit from a business venture, or toll from a road. Poor performance of the asset can lead to lower return, introducing a higher level of risk compared to conventional bond. While in conventional bond, bondholder receive interest payment from the issuer. This interest rate is predetermined and is not linked to the performance of any asset. Next is the return. The return on a sukuk is variable and depends on a performance of the underlying asset. If the asset perform well, sukuk holder may enjoy higher return. Conversely, poor performance of the asset can lead to a lower return, while in conventional bond, the return on a conventional bond is fixed and is determined by the interest rate. This fixed return reduce uncertainty and risk, making conventional bonds a more stable investment choice for risk-averse investors. Next is the issuer of the bond. The issuer of sukuk acts as a seller, selling ownership stake in specific asset to investor. The issuer is responsible for managing the asset effectively to generate return for sukuk holder. Conversely, the issuer of conventional bond function as a borrower. They receive funds from investor and commit to paying back the principal with interest. This straightforward debt obligation create a simple lender to borrower relationship. The last one is the relationship between the sukuk holder and the issuer is one of the seller and buyer. Sukuk holder are buying a share in an asset or business, making the relationship more complex and directly linked to asset performance. While in conventional bond, The relationship between the bondholder and the issuer is one of lender and borrower. Bondholder lends money to the issuer in exchange of interest payment, and the bond value is based on the issue debt obligation.
Hi everyone, I'm Ulan Usat with matrix number 85952. For my part, I will explain about contribution of Petronas Sukuk in Islamic finance and economy as a whole. The issuance of Sukuk by Petronas Global Sukuk has demonstrably contributed to both Islamic finance and economy as a whole. In terms of Islamic finance, Sukuk contribute in enhancing Islamic finance instrument. In this case, Sukuk serve as innovative instrument within Islamic finance, expanding Sharia-compliant options. By offering new avenues for investment, this Sukuk showcase the development and innovation of Islamic financial structure. Next, increase market confidence and standard. Sukuk has also played a role in increasing market confidence and elevating the standards of Islamic finance globally. By setting a benchmark for reliable investment, Petronas Sukuk boosts investor trust in the Islamic finance product. Lastly, for Islamic finance benefit, Sukuk promote global integration and recognition. Sukuk listing on multiple international exchange enhance the visibility and accessibility of Islamic finance on a global scale. As a consequence, it contributes to integration and recognition within the wider financial world. For contribution in terms of economy as a whole, Sukuk helped to develop the infrastructure to economic growth. Beyond Islamic finance, Sukuk offers significant benefits to the economy. The rest funds are used for infrastructure development and economic growth projects, which indirectly creating job opportunities. The last part is benefit in terms of foreign direct investment inflows, FDI. The issuance of Sukuk also attracts foreign direct investment due to its unique characteristic and attractive returns. This influx of foreign capital strengthens economic ties between Malaysia and other regions, fostering a more diversified investment landscape. In short, Sukuk has made significant contribution by advancing Islamic finance instruments, boosting market confidence, promoting global recognitions, and stimulating economic growth through infrastructure development and job creation. This innovative financial instrument serves as a successful example within the Islamic finance framework. Thank you.
Sharia complement financial instruments such as sukuk like ijara, muhabaha, and istina are important in advancing Islamic finance and contributing to economic development. Their role is to offer diverse financing options to increase market confidence, promote global integration, and finance infrastructure projects. Sukuk can also create job opportunities, diversify funding sources, and attract foreign direct investment. It is also important in fostering economic development, financial integration, and enable investment to bridge the economic gap and strengthen the foundation of ethical investment.